My name is Joel. I once had a friend named Tony. They say opposites attract, and in our case, that is true. I'm perfectly fine with staying local and going swimming. Tony, on the other hand, is the adventurous one, who always wants to get into trouble or do something dangerous. Sometimes I have to lie to my parents because Tony will think I'm a sissy if I don't go along with his plan.
One day, Tony decided we should go climbing to the Starved Rock Bluffs in the state park.
I swore to my dad, on my honor, that we were just going for a bike ride. Lying for me was very hard to do, but Tony did it with such ease, telling my dad that his parents already knew we were going. Once we were on our way to climb the rocks, we stopped at a bridge. Tony never wanted to go swimming in the pool, but for some reason he wanted to swim in this nasty river below the bridge. He darted down towards the river and I followed. In the river Tony went, stripped of his clothes. After a while, he convinced me to join him. We swam for a while and then things started to go sour. Tony said I was just like my dad and always a worrywart. I got so angry that I had said something that I shouldn't have. At least my dad doesn't hit kids with belts. Instantly, I regretted what I said, and Tony started to walk out of the water to climb the bluffs by himself. Not really thinking, I quickly dared Tony to swim to the sandbar with me to see if the water got any deeper than where we were. And of course, Tony never backed down from a dare. I was a decent swimmer, and I could hear Tony struggling in the background. Once I got to the sandbar, I was so excited about beating Tony, I turned around and shouted out, "I made it! I'm first!" That's when my entire life changed. There was nothing but silence. Swim for the music that saves you. I stood up and looked for Tony, and he was nowhere to be seen or heard. At first, I thought he might be playing a trick on me, but I soon found out that this was no trick. Tony was gone, and I panicked. I dove up and down in the water and had nothing to show for it. I heard a car above and tried to yell to make them stop, but they couldn't hear me, so I ran towards the bridge. When I got to the bridge, I stood in the middle of the road, hoping that some car would drive by and see me. Not long after I got to the bridge, a truck came down the road and stopped. It was a teenage girl and boy, and I explained what happened, and they had come down to help me look in the river again, but there was still nothing. The boy told me that he would have to take me to the police station and tell them what happened. That's when I got scared. How was I going to tell my parents, or even Tony's parents, what happened? I was on my dad's honor. So I decided to tell the boy that I would go to the police station by myself. I thought about running away, but what would that help? So I rode home slowly, thinking of everything that I could tell my parents. Finally, I came up with a foolproof story. I would tell them that I got tired and rode home, but Tony wanted to continue riding, so we went our separate ways. It was perfect. Now all I had to do was actually tell the lie. When I got home, I locked myself in my room, and I just laid in my bed in a fog until I heard my father calling for me. I could hear him coming up the stairs, and I knew he was mad at me for locking myself in my room. Tony's mom was supposed to be watching us. He asked me where Tony was, and I told him I didn't know. To my surprise, he believed me. So I got ready for my paper route, and I had to take my little brother with me. But while on my route, all I could think about was Joel and where he was, and what was going to happen when he doesn't come home. Then I started to think about all the fun times that we had together, and everything that we did. Once I was home for my paper route, my dad asked me again if I was telling them everything that I knew about where Tony was, and reminded me I was on my honor. I lied and ran up to my room. Once I got inside my room, I laid down and stared at the ceiling until I heard a policeman at Tony's door. I went to the front door to see what was happening, and my dad decided that we should go over and see what they found out. The police had found the clothes and his bike. That's when I broke down. I told the police and Tony's parents everything, but I couldn't seem to look up at Tony's mom, so I ran across the street to my house. Then up my stairs to my room to wait for my dad, because I know I was going to be punished. Soon after, my dad came in, and I thought I would be grounded for sure, but instead he was calm and wanted me to know that he was there when I needed to talk, but all I wanted to do was sleep and not think about it anymore. My name is Joel, and I once had a best friend named Tony, but he has gone to heaven now.